I'll tell you when to start.
Okay, then you just do it. 5, 4, 3.
Hey, everyone out there in the CBC universe. Welcome to another episode of Comic Book Characters.
And you're actually listening to Collecting Weekly's podcast, episode 80.
I'm your fellow neighborhood podcaster, Alfred.
And I'm Chris, the uncontested creator, Cussidus.
Collecting stuff. We've got Zack and Dean as well.
Nice.
Excellent stuff, guys.
That
You
was
guys ready?
beautiful. Yeah.
Dean, count me in.
All right. 5, 4.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
My name is Dean.
I'm Alfred.
Look, let's redo that.
Yeah.
I'm Chris sometimes.
All right,
Sometimes.
3, 2. Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
This is Alfred.
And this is Chris.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. This is the weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting. Dean, we have two very sweet angels on the podcast tonight. We have Alfred and Chris, the hosts of Comic Book Characters. Comic Book Characters is a bi-weekly podcast hosted by two tireless nerds scouring the universe from Asgard to Gotham, looking for the newest and best news in the comic multimedia world, specializing in comic movie news. The podcast can be found on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Wherever you hear us, you can find them there. Dean, we have a great show planned for all the people around the world listening. But before we get into this week's news, we have a very special segment that all of our best shows start with.
Yeah, are you ready?
Yes.
It's
New this week.
It's a little harder over StreamYard just because there's a little bit of a lag.
That is true.
What'd you get new this week? So Zach was nice enough to buy and paint this little baby
Yoda.
We'll call him Yodel. It's Yoda and Yaddle combined.
Boda, baby.
Yeah, he's cute.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yodes. And then this just got dropped off to me. It's super new. The Marvel Select Endgame Thanos.
Dude, hell yeah.
Literally, like right before we started recording, the beautiful angel Manny called me. He's like, "Hey, I'm outside. I got something for you." So he picked it up for me earlier. And then I've also just been working on this custom. It's like a female stormtrooper, but I'm still waiting on some parts. So
Very cool.
that's about it. I also bought something else, but I'll be surprised for next week.
Very cool. Very cool. Alfred, what'd you get this week?
Yeah, so, it's the holiday season. So I'm doing a lot of like Christmas shopping. But I did find some time to drop a little coinage on something for myself. I pre-ordered installment payment, guys, because I'm not made out of money. The Mandalorian Hot Toys 1/6 scale.
Where'd you pre-order it at?
I did it off of, I believe, Sideshow. I think is where I went because
man.
I had some points that I had.
There
to
you
use.
go.
That's
There you
why.
go.
Otherwise, there are other places, as we know. But
Stevens Collectibles and
yeah. Stevens is great. I just had points that I needed to use up, so that's kind of where I went with it. I'm
Hell
super
yeah.
psyched. Loving the show. We just saw Baby Yodes. Dean,
Yeah.
you got Baby Yodes there.
Holla at your boy.
And I mean, is that going to be like the biggest selling? Let me ask you this, Zach and Dean.
Sure.
Is Baby Yoda the Hot Toys 1/6 scale? Because they're going to do it. Is it going to come with the cradle? What's it going to come? Is it going to come with a frog?
First off,
know.
this better be Hot Toys DX diecast Baby Yoda. I want diecast crib. I want purrs in the eyes. I want the frog. I want bone broth. I want everything that this thing could possibly come with. I want that diecast ball from the ship. I want everything in this package.
Oh, the ball.
I will pay $500 full stop for a diecast Baby Yoda.
Oh
No,
my
why are
God.
you doing that? Don't set that precedent. Lower it. 300, man. 300. Come on.
Oh man.
I wouldn't mind the DX Mandalorian with the Baby Yoda in the crib.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty
nice.
dope.
The fact that they haven't like announced like any kind of Baby Yoda for the show is kind of insane because they've already announced who IG-88, Mando, and anyone else.
The
Heavy Mandalorian.
gunner.
Heavy
Yeah,
Mandalorian. Yeah, it's like how could you not? So far, the Heavy Mandalorian's been in 30 seconds of the show.
Yeah.
Baby
It's a
Yoda.
good
is
30
like
seconds though.
I mean, yeah, but Baby Yoda is like the main part of the show, arguably.
Real quick, we got Noble Young. We got Noble Young in the chat. Mervin, Dan Lee, Seth says, "What's up, gamers?"
Hey.
Lord Gregory seems to be having a little bit of a discussion down there in the chat. Yeah, I agree. I hope they make a Baby Yoda. And real quick, I definitely wanted to thank our sponsor for this episode, Watto Scrapyard. They make some really cool 3D printed stuff, and they're actually the supplier of these beautiful Baby Yoda figurines that are scaled for Black Series, but they can be made in 3 3/4 and 6 scale. Chris, did you get anything cool this week?
This week, maybe not. Stretching a little bit thin there with my time resource management. I did kind of pull something off my desk that I got pretty proud of. It's the Good Smile Company. They released the Figma for Diva a while back.
Nice.
Picked that up when I was
Figma, dude.
Yeah, no, it's super worth the price. Yeah, it's just about $60, I think. Picked it up in LA when I was back there during the summer. So still haven't taken out the box set or poser up or anything like that. I've had bad track record with breaking the Nendroid stands. So I'm gonna...
Dude, I break those. Oh my god. Dude, you are so goddamn. I love Nendoroids, but the stands are so fragile.
I mean, come on. Is there something a little bit like, can we get some 3D printing tech going on to kind of fix that shit?
Exactly. Yeah, that's Dean, what are you working on your desk? You're like, there's like a lot of plastic that's like, it's like you're killing me, Smalls. You muted yourself? I think he's trying to open the Select Thanos button, but not being too loud about it.
Right.
If he was working on that Baby Yoda, I was about to say $300. I would actually pay that. I wouldn't mind if there was a D-Generation X, because you were talking about DX, and that's all I could picture in my head. If there's a Baby Yoda telling me to suck it and doing the hand chops over its crotch, I would definitely pay $500.
Hell yes.
Attitude era Baby
That
Yoda.
sounds a little weird. Baby Yoda, tell me to suck it. Come on.
He's 50 years old, man.
It's a grown-ass man by some standards.
Grown-ass man.
Look at my ears. I want you to play with them.
I got a really good week. So Walmart did like some Black Friday thing where they had this really accurate Buzz Lightyear and Zurg 2-pack, and the Buzz Lightyear is 1-to-1 scale to the toy from Toy Story, and it's pretty much a repack of a Disney exclusive from several years back. I know Manny was saying they're quite expensive, and they took some of the lights out, but functionally it's identical in the sense that like the laser lights work, the karate chop works, the wings pop out like they do in the movie, the helmet visor goes up and down. It's like stupid accurate. And Walmart had those for like, I think it was like $25 for Buzz and Zurg as part of their Black Friday deal. Yeah, it was a 2-pack. And I could not pass that up. And having a 2-year-old, when you bring something like that into the house, who grows up on Toy Story 4, that lasted all about 7 seconds in the shelf before a tantruming 2-year-old had me pull it out. And unfortunately, it's now part of her collection. So that was a very quick new this week. I did also pick up this really awesome pickup, and I got to give a big shout out to Dean. Let me pull up some slides here. I got to give a big shout out to Dean because this is something that was not on my radar at all. And he had shown me, here it is. This is the Edge 1/12 scale Great White Shark. And
yeah, because you were asking somebody a question about theirs in their collection, and he was kind of like not giving you answers.
No, he had messaged me what it was. It was, I think it was Peter. It was a sideshow maquette, and that was one that they did several years ago. And the Edge Shark is just an amazing, piece for, I think it was like $60. I bought it about a month ago. It took quite a bit of time to come in from China, but it came wrapped extremely well. I think like, when you buy things from China, I don't know if it's just from China, but I've never seen a package like this in the United States, but they seem to come with like an entire roll of bubble wrap and no box. I've never seen anything like that from anywhere else.
Yeah.
And they legit use like 26 feet of bubble wrap on this thing, and it arrived perfectly safe. It was quite magnificent.
So I think that's a twofer. Like I think they are trying to keep your items safe, but also, do you feel like maybe they put so much bubble that like Customs just doesn't want to mess with it? They're just like, you know what,
dude,
legit, it could be a bomb, like whatever.
Legitimately, it took me like almost 20 minutes to get, because I was carefully like cutting layer after layer because I didn't want to slice the this thing, and I was doing it, and my friend was watching me. He's like, "Aren't you worried it's gonna break?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, let me check if this is polystone because I'm throwing this bitch around like, it was just, but it's really neat. It reminds me almost of something you'd find like at an aquarium gift shop, but like 10 times bigger. Like it's very soft. The material, you can see I can squeeze it there, but it's not like a like a rubber ducky where it's like that soft. It holds form and it takes paint very well, but it does have some give to it. You can see here on the screen I have my 1/10 scale Iron Studios Rex, and this is a 1/12 scale Jaws Great White. So this is obviously a little bit larger than a normal Great White would be, and this is almost as long as this T-Rex is, and the T-Rex is in a larger scale. It's massive. In my display case, you see it takes up a full shelf and a quarter. This is a big ass display case. It's really good. There's the only problem that I have with it is the let me go solo cam here for a second if I can. The only problem is the sculpt is kind of interrupted on the bottom. It looks like they made this mold in a few pieces, but having that flat spot isn't terrible because you can put like some sort of thing beneath it on that flat spot to kind of levitate it like I have here in the display cabinet. And it's just really nice. Like for the price, for what it came with, the paint job, there was a few small paint touch-ups that I needed to do with apple barrel paint. And I think this Thursday I'm going to do another Joy of Hobbying video. And I think if I can find the paints at my local hobby shop, I think I'm going to start blooding up the mouth and making it look a little bit more like the shark from Jaws. It's not an exact replica of Bruce from Jaws, but it's like definitely not a replica of a real shark. Like the proportions are a little different, the scale is a little bigger, and the only thing I noticed that it doesn't have is Bruce has like very distinct cheeks for the mechanism to get the puppet to open and close the jaw. It literally looks like an action figure on the real prop, but it's this one has a smooth sort of like if that was not necessary, and it's a wonderful thing, and for $60 you can't go wrong. I used my last eBay Bucks certificate on it and got a discount, and then I bought it during a promotion with eBay Bucks, and I earned like $6 back. So definitely one of the better pickups I've made in a while. Now, Dean mentioned I was looking at a different Jaws, and this is the Funko Pop one. This one goes for about $80 to $90 sealed and about $60 loose without the what is the scuba tank? And this thing is awful compared to the shark for the pretty much the same price. You can see here again, this is the edited shark and this is the Funko reaction style shark. So definitely really excited with this shark, and I look forward to what I can do with it, even if I
and it's probably what, twice the size.
This one comes in at about 24 inches, so it is I think 3 times. I think the other one's like 8 inches long.
Oh goddamn!
I could be wrong, but this thing is massive. It's super well painted.
Yeah, it's super funny. I just happened to see that on my eBay because I have, again, as a seller from China, but I have a pretty good rapport with him, so he'll get shit like way before anybody else, and I'll message him and I'll buy stuff. And so I just check his page every once in a while, and I had seen this shark like a week before I saw you on Facebook asking that guy about his shark figure, and I was like, I just saw a shark somewhere, and it looked to be a pretty good size, and that's when I sent it to you, and I'm glad you got it because it looks sweet. Like the shelf presence is pretty dope.
Dude, the shelf presence is phenomenal. Like when I took this out of the box, I brought it to I had it shipped to my work, and so I was thinking like this is massive. And when I got home, I was like, fuck, where am I going to put this thing? And I had to rearrange like my whole like display cabinet to fit it. And even then I really don't know like if I need to sell things to make this display make sense again, because I have like characters with other characters that don't really match up. So I don't know. One of our Facebook users asked who makes the shark. This is by a company called Edage. It's EDAGE. And if you search Edage 1/12 shark on eBay, they start at about $50 and they go up to about $67. After the show ends, I'll put up a link to the seller that I got mine from.
Well, you actually put up the link already, didn't you?
I think I did actually. And then Dan Lee asked, what is it made of again / material? Dan, it's a material. It's definitely like a plastic. I wouldn't say it's rubber, but it does have some give to it. It is hollow. So while it is quite large, it is not very dense. So it displays really nicely. One thing I want to maybe experiment with is drilling the center of the shark and putting an acrylic rod in there and then mounting it to like a display base. That's something I'm thinking about doing. But for now, the rectangular acrylic risers are working really well. So that is, if anyone has any more questions on this, I can do a full video review of the Shark. But I don't want to bog down the show too much, Dean, because we have some really cool news now. Hot Toys announced their Iron Spider comic version. This is $250, releasing April to June 2020.
That's not a bad price for this.
Not a bad price at all. And I will say that, one, first and foremost, again, great price. But two, I really wish they went all the way with this figure, because if you look at the lower portion of the legs, they did actual joints for the legs. And if I really wish they would have done actual joints for the waist and actual joints for the arms and the elbows. I think at that point you would have had a durable figure that is obviously all plastic and not fabric or rubber, and it would have been something that would last a long time and display beautifully in your collection. That's my only complaint.
I don't
what do you
know
guys think?
I don't know if they could have gotten the articulation down otherwise. With like doing like a full Iron Man type figure.
Well, Sentinel did a 1/6 scale Iron Man that was all jointed. Looked pretty decent.
I don't know what the articulation is like on that one.
I think it is.
You
fairly
think you don't know,
decent.
so let's move on.
I mean, I don't have it in hand, obviously. Are we gonna break up? Are we gonna break up? Are we gonna break up this podcast again, Dean?
Again, last show, you guys.
Dude, last
You
week we
won't.
were
You won't.
Civil War.
You
Civil
know,
War.
as being like the big Spider-Man aficionado, right? Like the thing about Spider-Man figures, it always comes down to posability. Like
Exactly.
that's what that character is all about. I will say they kind of got the Michael Turner look up on the left side in that picture, off of the Michael Turner drawn Civil War comic. So that looks pretty nice. I agree with you, Zach, though. I always want to see more posability out of any Spider-Man figure. That's going to be the most important thing when I'm looking at the figures.
Yeah, and I know that certainly a lot of the Hot Toys Iron Man can achieve poses, but the question always becomes, how much damage do you risk to your figure? You know, with the advanced suit Spider-Man, I can do a lot of poses, and I think I might have minimal damage. Scarlet suit, significantly less damage. But when you get to like Iron Spider that Hot Toys made for Infinity War, that figure, if you pose it wrong, some people say it heals, quote unquote, but it definitely does have some residual damage. And this suit, if it's anything like that one, is going to suffer the same problems and be a huge pain in the ass. And but it is, I have to say, $250 is not a bad price. I was thinking this was going to be $285 when it was shown at the Comic-Con it was at, but $250, I think they're throwing us somewhat of a bone here, and that's $250 is Sideshow's with the Sideshow tax. So, you know, not the worst figure at the worst price. Here's another really cool pose here, and maybe this is a more posable than the original Iron Spider, but I think it looks pretty decent. That's kind of all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I like the arms.
They look pretty good here. You can see it comes with some web effects and kind of a bare bones figure, though. Not a lot of accessories.
Now, is it just going to be plastic or is it going to be die cast?
I believe this is plastic. This is a VGM, and I did not see. I think it was diecast. They would have listed it like a D00X.
Right.
You know what I mean? Love the design, though. It looks beautiful. It looked beautiful on display at Comic-Con. So
Yeah,
this
I'm
is.
not much more about that.
Now, Dean, this is something that really excites me. This is a third-party Iron Man Mark 6. This is roughly, the price that I found was roughly $190. I think there was some sites that were marking it up to like $220, and this is releasing Q1 to Q2 2020. Now, Dean, remind me, does this look more battle damage than Hot Toys? I think, I think they took it a
more.
little bit further.
Yeah.
And according to this graphic, this is by a company called Play Toys. Now, the common issue with third-party figures is that they're oftentimes underscaled, and I think in the case of the Iron Man, that's not a terrible thing, because Dean, you and I both have observed a size creep with some of these diecast figures where they're oftentimes massively overscaled
way too tall.
to earlier Mark counterparts. And so this one seems to have some clean parts, seems to have some damaged parts. You can see a little bit of a close-up here on the detail and some look of the packaging. I have to say this is kind of tempting if it ends up coming out pretty decent, especially at the price. What do you guys think? I know you guys do a lot of comic books. Is third party like something you guys have to deal with in comic books? Like people making really good replicas of hard to find books?
So not so much, but the kind of thing that I've been seeing lately is the main publishers, DC and Marvel, actually are bringing out these facsimile editions of books, right?
You know, I've seen that. I think the one that I saw recently was, I think it was the first Spider-Man first appearance. They were like reprinting it.
Amazing Fantasy 15.
Yeah, they're reprinting
Yeah.
it for like, which I thought was awesome actually.
Yeah, well,
Especially if you want that on your wall.
for sure. And here's the really cool thing is like they legitimately look, they're one-to-one replicas. They have the same ads, they have same everything.
Yeah.
The big thing with the facsimile editions though was the Hulk 181, right, which is the first appearance of Wolverine.
Yeah.
And what people were doing is they were doctoring, they were kind of edging up the facsimile editions and trying to make them look like original edition books.
You mean like they were trying to like
printing.
weather them a little bit?
Yeah, they were weathering them, and they were
Damn, that's
it's
wild.
called dodging or foxing in comics, and like yeah, it's really crazy. And
That is
the thing is, like you would think, oh well, like how can they get away with that? Like any collector would know, and that's true. Most collectors are going to be able to spot it right away, but there's always that like one person that doesn't know, and all it takes is
for a big premium
for $3,000, you know, and like it's you just got to do it once. So that's kind of the big problem. Whereas I think in the toy collecting field, I love the third party stuff because they're taking chances. They have visions of doing different types, even like Iron Man, right? It's such an established character. But
Yeah.
look at this version of Iron Man compared to like the Hot Toys one. They're just doing something different, and you can still get both. Like it's, I don't know, like to me, it's. I like that these things are out there.
Well, I like this one in particular because I actually had the Hot Toys one I had gotten from Zach, and we have a friend, shout out Mike. He really, really wanted this figure because he was like, "Dude, I'm doing the first
the Hall of Armor.
the Hall of Armor," and he's like, "I really need it." And he ended up trading me 2 Iron Men for this one, which was a pretty good deal.
Honestly, the Mark 45 right now is going for like $400. People are putting WTBs on OSR PST. So if you want to sell that Mark 45, dude, there's a huge market.
Yeah,
at that higher price.
I got the 45 and the 43.
Yeah.
The 43 and the 45 for the Iron Man Mark 6. And which again, I'm still fine with, but I do really like that suit, and I wouldn't mind having it back in my collection. But the price is like at $800.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And it's like I'll never buy that figure again because why? I'm not spending that kind of money on. I know it's a great figure, but I know it's not worth $800.
You've owned it. You've experienced it.
Yeah, it's definitely beautiful, but not $800 beautiful.
That was the
So
same.
Seeing this is like, oh, there's a chance to have it back in my collection without,
Breaking the
getting
bank.
bent over.
Right,
Yeah.
you're saving money and you get a slightly different version of it too.
That's
Arguably better, depending on how it turns
Right.
out. Because the Hot Toys one was a faceplate and the chest. That was it. That was the
Yeah.
only battle damage. This has shoulders, the
chest, the legs.
The bullet holes.
yeah.
yes.
There's 2 different chests actually. So
Yeah.
3 chests altogether. I was gonna say it looks like 2 different chests, but yeah, 3 different chests, a bunch of hands. It looks like there's another tray with the base. So without it being, I doubt it's gonna be die cast, but
That's not a big deal either, though. Diecasts are a bitch to pose. They're so heavy. You can't put them on a
Yeah.
flight stand.
Exactly.
I
So
really wish that with every diecast release, Hot Toys would offer a plastic alternative with the same articulation.
Mhm.
Personally, I've had my fair share of diecast,
yeah, so
and I just prefer the ease of, I don't have to worry about a plastic Iron Man falling off a flight stand at 2 a.m.
true. Yeah, this thing is really exciting because if it does well, they'll do more. Well, if they'll get sued into oblivion, but
So 2 points. Mervin says he's going to hit up Steven's Collectibles for the Iron Spider. And one of our Facebook members says, is it worth $800 for the Mark 6? I think Dean mentioned it was not. And Dean, I had the same experience with the Mark 46 when I was trying to rebuy it. I was not going to spend a penny over $450 for it. And thankfully, Chris Luddy was able to get me one at under the price I was maximum willing to pay.
shout out Chris.
Shout out to Chris Luddy, wonderful guy. Wonderful guy from Six Scale Scavenger podcast.
Yeah, it's
And
I
yeah, it's the
can't
same
think-
thing. It's like I know exactly what it is. I owned it for a few months. I know exactly what I'm going to get into. It's not worth $1,000 that people are charging for it.
No, I can't think of a single figure in my collection that I think is worth anywhere close to $800.
Okay, well then just give me back the Baby Yoda then, if that's how you feel. 'Cause-
No, like I think the coolest thing in my collection is like the DX07. And
oh yeah, dude. You
and
got a
that-
complete one too.
yeah, well, near complete, and those things go for anywhere from $500 to $900 depending on the day.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd pay $500 for it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's very cool, but I don't think it's that cool.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I own it.
Yeah. Next up, Dean, we mentioned a third-party Morpheus, and that same company is making a third-party Trinity. This is $160 releasing Q2
That's pretty
2020.
sweet.
Pre-order is up on 1/6 kit, and I do imagine TNS will get it. They're calling this the Hacker, and there's been some discussion whether or not this head sculpt is a recast of Jinx's Trinity. Whether or not that is the case, I have not been able to confirm. But I have to say this looks really, really good. The
I think they
accessories-
nailed her outfit
dude, exactly. It
because
looks
hers
freaking
was like
perfect.
very shiny and reflective in the movie.
That the wet leather.
yeah, so the
Yeah.
fact that they nailed it. That was the first thing I noticed is like that.
Yeah, the
it's
glasses
not
look
just
really
black,
good.
the
I know.
wet-
Glasses at this scale can be kind of difficult.
Ow.
Are you guys big Matrix fans? Alfred and
Yeah,
Chris?
I'm a huge Matrix fan, especially the first one. Kind of where the story goes after that.
Overrated.
There you go. See,
What?
Overrated.
Oh my god! Yeah,
I mean,
I'm messing with you.
no.
It was amazing.
overrated. Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
the first one is great. Like
no.
a true like benchmark of cinema, especially modern cinema. What it did, how it changed the game in terms of what action films are.
How it changed the
without
culture.
these-
Doing the Matrix, like that was a thing that was set on playgrounds everywhere.
Hmm
I liked it. I liked it a lot when
back
when I
up.
saw it back in '95 and it was called Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, nice, nice, dude. I remember when this movie came out. My brother and my mom went to go see it like 6 times, and my mom
God
was like,
damn.
she never goes to the movie theater, but I remember her going to see it like over and over. She's like, "You have to see it." I was like, "Just
Man.
take me." They never took me. I don't know why. So I
I
didn't
was-
get to see it until after it was out of theaters.
I was actually working at the Northwood Cinema, Northwoods 14, when this came out, and dating myself a little bit. It's my first job, but I was working concessions, and we would go see movies as a perk. So I went back to the concession stand. I got like a trash bag full of popcorn
Oh my
and,
God.
like 2 huge sodas. Went over there and like I had the theater to myself that day. It was like a 2:00 showing.
Nice.
Yeah,
Do you have
it was one of the
diabetes
best.
today? Jesus.
Still weighing me down. Still worth it.
You had the theater to yourself and other things. Dean, this is I think this is pretty
Ooh.
neat. This is the Hasbro 1-to-1 scale Count Dooku lightsaber. This is $215, releasing spring 2020.
Nice.
Gotta say, it looks pretty good. I won't get it though, but damn, that
Oh
looks
yeah, I don't like Dooku enough to get this, but the only other way to get this saber,
It's Disney, going to Disneyland, Disney World.
oh, that too. But I was gonna say the master replica, the original one.
That one's crazy
and
price.
Those are like $1,200. So this is
God.
it's gonna kill that market.
Yeah.
Sorry to say for those guys, but
Noble,
it's nice for people who when these were out, I was, I don't know, 12, 13, 14. I didn't have the money to go.
I was a young lad back then.
Yeah, so for me, it's like if I wanted this saber, I'd be shit out of luck because I wasn't old enough to buy them back in the day, and it's all dried up now. So the fact that they're reissuing these is really cool. And honestly, I have a master replica and the Black Series sabers, and I think the Black Series sabers might be a little nicer.
Ooh,
Just the materials, the speaker quality. So this is really, it's pretty freaking sweet. And you could just go to Walmart and get them.
yep. Real quick, Noble Young is in the chat. He did get the Christmas card and the sticker that we sent him. So Noble, thank you for being you. He was in the chat like really early, and I felt really bad that he was in the chat so early. Dean, this is very exciting for me. This is Figure Arts,
Yes.
Jackie Chun, and I gotta say, this is a dopo, man. This is amazing. Now, for the people that watched Dragon Ball Z but have not watched Dragon Ball, I highly recommend you check it out. Jackie Chun is a disguise that Master Roshi puts on to teach Goku and Krillin a lesson in the World Martial Arts Tournament. And this figure looks stunning. I have to say, it looks
Yeah.
stunning. They've really nailed it. And yeah, I think I'm gonna get it.
You absolutely should get it, Zach. I'm really like, impressed and jealous of your figure arts Dragon Ball collection. It is so brilliant. And as soon as I got wind of this figure, I was like, "Oh, Zach's all over this."
Dude, I was all over this. Alfred,
It is a beautiful figure.
You gotta come by again. It's been like a long time that you've been to my house.
It's been like a year.
Zach-
It's been a while.
Zach's figure art collection is second only to mine.
First off,
Oh, Dean, I haven't seen yours.
Yeah, I just
so
never posted
nice.
I never post my
You gotta post it, man.
Yeah.
You gotta post it.
I give him a hard time. I think his is a little nicer because he has like.
it's because I have it displayed. I think you have more figures and more important figures, but
No, you have Beerus and Whis, and you have a little like harder to find figures that I just like didn't want to spend the money on.
I mean that's an excuse.
I
but
don't
yeah.
know if we'll get this, honestly. I do really like this character just because he ends up beating Goku, right? Spoilers.
Thanks, Dean.
Well, Goku becomes the giant
JK.
ape, and then I think after that he's like, he does win. But
Yeah,
I don't remember the circumstance of how he wins.
I think he tricks Goku and
Yeah.
Goku, like falls out or something. So it's
But,
like
like, the
it's
whole
really
arena
funny.
is
It was like
different.
very cool that he set out to teach Goku a lesson and he ended up doing it. It's really cool. But
Well, he was like very close to losing several.
oh yeah,
times.
but I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up. It's cool, but I don't even have a Roshi, so
This could be that Roshi.
yeah, it could be.
A clarification on an earlier point. Mario Cortez says the Dooku Hilt is not available at the Disney parks.
Oh,
Thank you. Mario has a season pass. He's the official weapons distributor for 6-scale scavengers, and he's always willing to buy people any saber that they need. So if you need anything, hit him up. He's really good. And then Seth says, "Damn, Dean out there flexing that figure arts collection."
Oh, I forgot. Seth is pretty good too.
Dude,
We
Seth is
we
pretty
need
good.
more people like Mario in the Resistance. So that's great to have him.
Yeah.
You know, having help him out the cause.
Dean, I'll let you take over here. There was some figures
Yeah.
that you were very excited about from IMCMPLX.
Yeah, it's I'm complex.
Okay, well,
Okay,
boomer. To myself.
that's what it's called. I'm just letting you know.
No, thank
You're
you.
the boomer.
I know. I boomered myself.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell?
That's why I said okay, boomer to myself.
All right, we're canceling this again.
All right, I quit the show.
Okay, so this guy, his name is Brian. I think it's Brian Yin. I could be wrong, but he actually just creates art. Where'd Zach go?
I quit
He
the
quit
show.
the show.
He quit. We're the new host, by the way. That's
Yeah,
actually
there we
where we're
go.
on here.
That's actually why they're there.
Yeah, so he does art and like comic strips, I think, and he was like, I really love designing characters, and more importantly, I like designing clothing. And he's like, so I took all three of these passions, and I just created these figures. They're called God Complex, and there's three of them. Apparently, he only made 150 of these things total, or this one had 100. Okay, so there's another figure. I couldn't find any pictures of it.
Yeah.
They're super limited runs. I just thought it was really cool that somebody who's not involved in toy making at all jumped into it because they like making clothes. And it's like, well, it's easier to make clothes for 6-scale figures than, people.
Yeah.
What if it doesn't look right, or what if people don't like it? And so it's kind of like a jumping off point for him to make an actual clothing line, which is really cool. And the figures are bomb, dude. They look so awesome. Did you have the other pictures I sent?
No, I just put one of each.
Oh, okay.
Dean, real quick. So you mentioned earlier that he also does like web comics and stuff. Are these characters from the comic or anything else that he?
Yeah, I think they're just so. The line is called God Complex, so I'm pretty sure they're from that, whatever it is. I didn't look into it too much. I saw him on Tested, the Adam Savage YouTube.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
they just sat with him in the booth for like 4 or 5 minutes, and he was just talking about basically like he likes designing clothing, but he's not a clothing designer. And so this is like a really easy way for him to do that. And I was like, man, that's so cool. And they look amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were such a limited run, because I was like, oh, let me get the word out. And then I go and they're like all sold out. I was like, oh shit. Like, damn, that sucks. But I just thought it was a really cool concept of like art, clothing, figures, real clothing, like just knocking it out the park, man. It's really
Well, I've got some bad news for you, Dean. You're giving the guy rub here on Collecting Weekly. Now even more people are going to know about it. Now you really don't have a chance at getting it.
yeah, for real. But they weren't actually the prices weren't bad at all. If Zach, the prices weren't on there, were they?
Not on this
I think they were
screenshots
like-
you sent me.
I think they were like $200, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, oh, it's sold out. And then I went to the other ones, like, oh, that's sold out too. And then the third one is just not there at all. So I was like, well, that sucks. But yeah, they were way long sold out by the time I got there.
Yeah. Dean, we have some really big news. I'm gonna go solo here for a second.
Uh-oh.
But we started a little bit of a revolution, Dean.
Really?
We made the hashtag along with our friends at the Hot Toys Shipper Box Facebook group. I have the official mug here. Hashtag Danielle PLS, hashtag Double Box, hashtag Not My Shipper, and hashtag Shippers Lives Matter. We have done something here. If you look at this screenshot here, Dylan went undercover, deep undercover, and essentially
This is Dylan.
Sideshow. Wait, what?
His screen name is just Dylan. I don't know if that's deep undercover.
It's that is true.
That's a double bluff, man. Only
It was
the
a
best
double
buys
bluff.
are capable
Oh,
of that.
dude, hiding in plain
Look, they
sight.
say
Dylan,
the
son of a
best trick
bitch.
the devil ever did was make people believe he didn't exist. So
Yeah.
Dylan went deep undercover, and you can see here they expanded the dimension for pack out to 17 by 11 by 8, which means the Hot Toys Mark 7, which is now shipping in the United States, is eligible for pack out. So let's give us a round of applause for bringing
Nice.
attention to this. We brought this to the airwaves. And,
Yeah, I know a lot of people were upset, and a lot of people got their boxes damaged.
destroyed.
Yeah, and
Destroyed, frankly.
really lame. And if they come in an art box, like that's an
Protect that art
Not
box.
just a shipper anymore.
Nope.
So maybe
So
that's all.
we did something really cool.
It's
Now,
okay.
Hot Toys is showing this new VGM Compact Advanced Suit Christmas edition. Now, this is something that I don't believe you can buy from Hot Toys. The translation of their post says, thanks to our friends who have long supported and focused on Hot Toys, we have a surprise gift for toy hunters and secret base members. The Hot Toys Spider-Man mini collection, yada, 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 is an extra match with the exclusive Winter Blue Cold hats and scarves to celebrate our Christmas holiday. And they basically, if you're a member of the Toy Hunters or Secret Base members, you can claim this figure through text or email from today until I think it says the 1st. I don't know if that's the 10th or the 11th, but it is a Christmas gift that you get for being a frequent customer of Hot Toys. I think these are going on the secondary market for like $80 to $100 for people that are secondary members that are selling
How big
them.
is it? Like 3 inches?
This is tiny. This is remember when Hot Toys made those Hall of Armor figures? Those are from the compact line, and I think they're like 3 3/4. Like they're pretty small.
Jeez, I want to pay that.
Well, some people really like the collectability, and they look very Christmassy, I must say. So
Yeah,
people out there-
3 inches, but it was cold outside, so keep that in mind.
thank you.
No, I would like it, but I'm not gonna pay $100 for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Dean, it's that time of the show where we thank our sponsor, Watto Scrapyard. Sean is killing it lately with the resin printers. He's got 3 total printers. He's printing Darth Talon head sculpts, Darth Talon sabers, Darth Talon hands.
Watto.
He is printing baby Yodas out the wazoo
Is he
as fast as he
technically
can
Watto?
make them. Wait, what?
I said, is Sean technically Watto?
I don't know. I think so. But he's doing great. He is a wonderful guy. You can find him on Facebook, Watto's Scrapyard. You can find him on eBay as well. He sells, like I mentioned, all those parts and more. He sells replacement parts for your Hasbro 3 3/4 scale vehicles, Kenner stuff, vintage stuff, all that replacement stuff. He
It's
sells.
all amazing.
If you can print it, he can sell it. And
Yeah.
there's been many a times that I've had a file that I needed printed, and he was Johnny on the spot. I know he's been experimenting with some of the Forge Master helmets from the Mandalorian,
No way.
He has the file for that, and he's been kind of printing some up.
Yo, he needs to get on Ahsoka right now. You know how many people do want that?
A lot of people.
Ahsoka?
Yeah.
A lot of
Oh,
people. He's
absolutely.
working with some
right here in line. Get behind me.
Very good. Very well. I think I'm first.
Yeah, he's
I'll
working with
get
some.
behind you. It's no problem.
No, you're good. That's funny. But
Yeah.
yeah, dude, he makes some great stuff. I personally have his landing gear for my Legacy Millennium Falcon. Sorry, and they're amazing. I highly recommend if you need something for your old Kenner or Hasbro vehicles. He's your guy.
This is an example of the Darth Talon head sculpt that he's printed, and he also has some different face sculpts for this, and then also a relaxed Leku. So he is doing some good stuff with this 3D artist that he's working with, and definitely a lot of people are going to be very excited to add a Darth Talon and/or I know he said Ahsoka was next, so potentially an Ahsoka to their collection. Dean, there's one charity that really has meant a lot to me this past year. You knew, Dean, when I went through last year with this charity. Now, Be The Match is a company, and they wrote me a little script here to kind of talk about them. Now, every year, 14,000 people fight blood cancers and or blood diseases and are in need of stem cell transplants, and only 30% of these 14,000 people find a match. They do a registry where you can sign up and you can take a swab from your cheek and send it in. It's free. And roughly 1 in 430 people who sign up are called upon to donate either through peripheral blood stem cells, which is what I did last year, or through bone marrow donation. And it's a very easy process.
Yeah.
You can go through it all, and it's very safe, and they took care of me. And roughly 6 months after I did my procedure, I found out that my patient, who was pretty much on her last chance to survive her illness, was still living. And today, which is a little over a year after I did my donation, I got to talk to her on the phone, and it was very emotional and very touching experience. So if you guys want to know what you can get me for Christmas, go to bethematch.com. We'll put a link in the show notes where you can sign up to receive a kit, or you can text HERO, HERO, to 61474 to begin the process of becoming a potential donor. It's very easy to do. It's painless. It's free, and they cover all your medical costs for the procedure. But I wanted to give them a shout out in the middle of the show because they really have played a big part of my life this past year. And if I put it at the end, I feel like not as many people would get the message. So definitely big shout out to them.
Smart.
Guys, there was some big movie news this week. I know you guys at CBC are probably very excited about Wonder Woman 84, as are we.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the trailer? I'll leave it open. I'll let you guys discuss here for a moment.
Yeah, we were super jazzed. Actually, it led I believe it led our show on our most recent recording. So
yeah,
it's just the visual style that they're doing with it. They really are embracing the 80s motif, going full Stranger Things, and we couldn't be happier. Like something that we always say on our show. We get I'm sure you guys get pinched for stuff like this too, but we're always being cast as like Marvel fanboys, right? Because we do like a lot of the MCU films. But it's not really that. We want everything to be good. We just want everything to be good because the more everything's good, the more you can enjoy all these movies and the different studios that put them together.
Yeah.
And we liked the first Wonder Woman film, so to see that this one looks as of a high quality or maybe even better, we're tremendously pleased with it.
Yeah, besides the aesthetic alone, it also had like the kick-ass action shots, like she's kind of sliding around the mall, it looked like, or whatever it was, kind of taking out some bad guys. So again, the same focus, like even a flashback scene of her in the trailer, right? Kind of running with all the rest of the Amazon. So it seems like they found a thread that and they're gonna follow it till it gets another $1 billion.
It's not a bad move. I thought it was a really good trailer. I loved it.
How's this? What do you think Chris Pine is in this movie? You think he's like some kind of phantom? Like, how does he come back?
That's a good question. We actually didn't really discuss it when we were talking about the trailer.
I don't think it's really him.
I don't think it's. I think it's like a deal with the devil type of situation
Ooh.
where he's going to be kind of the carrot that kind of propels Diana through the film, gives her agency, but ultimately at the end, it's all gonna be for naught. Like he's gonna dust away or whatever. Like he's not back. Like he's not gonna stay back.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I didn't really have a theory, but I mean, it'd be kind of cool if she was kind of losing it a little bit, because like they made a point of like setting it up in the trailer, like, oh, it's been a long time since I've been in a relationship or whatever. Yeah, so if she's kind of like getting a little out there, then you're just kind of seeing things that aren't there and pretending he's back.
But he definitely affects the real world because he's like punching people and stuff. So I was like, I don't know, but it could also one of those Joker things where he's just seeing it completely, like in his mind. So that's a good point. I don't know. I don't know if it's crazy though. I am super excited though. It was so good.
She was riding the lightning.
That's so
that was
lassoing it. Just
Spider-Man out there, just like whipping or whip and getting the fuck out of there. That's sweet.
I'm so tight.
Super stuff.
So freaking tight.
I saw some people complaining on
of course he did.
Of course he did.
They were like, this it's not comic accurate. I'll just stick to the comics. And someone put a screenshot of this suit here next to the comics, and they're like, okay, GG. It's pretty special. Someone's like,
well, yeah, that's the thing. They even show her in the armor at the very end of the trailer, and that's a really specific suit to the comic. That's like, wow, they really went there.
Yeah, I think it looks really good. I can't wait to see it. I did not see the first one in theaters. Big mistake. I think I'm definitely going to see this one when it releases in the theaters.
Yeah.
This movie really excited me. I know we talked Disney here and again. Mulan, live action. Can't get over no cricket or no dragon, but I think I have to because the trailer looks pretty decent. Have you guys seen the trailer for this?
Yes.
Yeah.
I checked it out.
I'm very excited. Very excited.
I immediately went back and watched Mulan after this came out.
Dude, same.
It almost looks like, I mean, this is going to sound kind of stupid, but it looks like a completely different movie.
That's what everyone's saying.
I couldn't recognize any scenes in particular from the cartoon.
The only one that kind of was like
when she's over here. So it's like, does it follow more? Because Mulan's like a real lady. So does it follow like a historical?
Could be
path?
Historical context or whatever. You know, it's interesting because if you compare this to like Aladdin, right? And Aladdin was so much note for note, except for the new stuff that they added. So
Lion King.
And Lion King. Oh yeah, and Lion King. So note for note of what the animated film was. I kind of like this that it's familiar, but it's obviously not the same movie.
Right.
And that excites me because I want to know, what are you going to show me that's different?
That was another point I was going to make about the Wonder Woman thing, because Zach said people were like, oh, I'll just stick to the comics. And I've said this before. I think it was on Small Talk. I don't need the same shit spoon-fed to me constantly. I don't need to like have this character do this thing because that's like, expected. Give me something new. That's fine. I don't really dislike it that much.
Yeah, of all the remakes that Disney is doing right now, this one makes the most sense to me. Because it was almost one for one. Like Mushu, yeah, of course. It was a great kind of like a comedy gag.
But Mushu just because Eddie Murphy's so iconic.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't think you could get away with it. Also, like, I don't think they should have done Aladdin because the genie, Robin Williams, like.
I
was about to say, as long as Will Smith is Mushu, I think you can do
it. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Seth says no Mushu is a deal breaker.
I don't know, dude. It looks really good.
You know what movie looks really good? I don't have a slide here, but Disney put up a trailer. I think it was like 2 days ago of this movie called Togo. It's a live action of the one of the most important dogs in the Balto story. Balto ran the last leg of the to bring the medicine to those kids back in the day, and Togo and his team did the lion's share of the work to get it to Balto to run the last leg of that thing. And history has kind of forgotten about Togo and the team, and Disney is making a live-action movie that streams December 20th of that dog and his owner, and that dog had a pretty crazy upbringing with lots of crazy events, so that looked really cool as well. I think Disney's just killing it lately. What's that, Dean?
Am I going to cry watching this dog movie?
100%.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it.
Dean, you don't have to cry. You know that all dogs go to heaven, so just...
Well, it depends on who you talk to.
Depends on the dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's have a discussion on our grails. I think,
Yeah.
I think Dean, we had a discussion many moons ago, and we'll start with Alfred. This is your grail. Tell me about it.
yeah, man. This is the Spider-Man 3. Look, okay, so I'm not gonna make any apologies for the movie.
I've owned this figure.
Yeah.
But I love this figure. So I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I think everybody, definitely everyone on our channel knows that. But if y'all, collecting wise, I at one point literally had, I'd say a 20 by 16 storage unit full of Spider-Man stuff.
God,
Like just so much stuff. And so Spider-Man's always been a big thing for me. I just love the figure. I love the black suit. Look, I'll say this: the sculpt could be better on the Sandman for sure, but the fact that that's like included with this figure, that it's essentially a diorama, to me was so cool.
yeah.
I really, really, at the time, I didn't know Hot Toys was a thing. So I came into this much later,
Right.
and it's not like super crazy expensive. I want to say it's like $400 or $500. I've seen it online, but it's just like it's a thing I definitely want to own at some point. But this is the thing that we do in comics a lot with comic collecting. You have something that you want, a grail, but the price that you feel comfortable paying for it. And if you're patient enough, 99% of the time, you're going to get it. You got to be patient. You got to be vigilant.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I am with this figure. I know I'm going to get it someday. I just want to get it like in the 300, maybe 350 range.
You just want to be careful. A lot of the older Hot Toys figures from this era, the ankles are very fragile. And I've never seen an example of one of these in this present day that has non-broken ankles.
That's very metaphorically accurate for Freddy.
That is true. I did shatter my ankle in 37 places.
Oh my God.
Right before Spider-Man came out, actually.
Rip.
So. Yeah, rip my ankle.
Chris, this is your grails. Tell us about them.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Well, on the left we got Ryoko, the McFarlane. Yeah, it's just back when Suncoast and like physical stores were a thing, I'd go in there and like check out the anime section. Of course, they'd always have some really dope figures, and like, one day I'm gonna get that Asuka, I'm gonna get that Ryoko or whatever. And I never did. I think one time I got like the Asuka for my birthday or something like that, but I always missed out on Ryoko. She was always really popular. Never got a chance to get her back then. I finally managed to get like the Tenchi Muyo, the original DVD box set.
Nice.
So I kind of want to maybe Ryoko to put it alongside it. Nice little bookend.
Those should not be too hard to track down.
Yeah, I think both of these actually are kind of like pretty attainable grails. It's just something that I've always had in the back burner. On the right is like these Gundam Wing figures were released they were released stateside, and they were amazing. They were like what, $6 at Walmart or something like that before like Gundam Wing broke hard.
I remember they used to make the battle damage versions.
Hey, they're like $20 on Ryoko.
Yeah,
incredible painting and sculpting on the battle damage. And
dude, those are so cool. Their prices have actually gone up pretty high. The battle.
I know. I looked at them a few months ago and I was like, nope, don't need it.
It stuck in my mind because I was in like some anime store like in town, like one of the four back in the day with my brother, and we were checking out some Gundams they had, and we're like, oh shit, Tallgeese, this first one, not this Mark II that they had, but that I have in the picture, but the first one. And we just didn't have a price. We took it down. We brought it to the cashier, and she was like $80. And I'm like, what the fuck? We had these. We played with these hard. That's why we need another one.
Yeah.
So
the only reason I didn't like these is because they were so small. But I'm excited to see where they take. Have you checked out the Gundam Universe line?
No, I have not.
Dude, they're ridiculous.
Yeah,
so good.
They're up for figure of the under $30.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I think these might be better in terms of articulation, but size and price and like just overall quality
presentation. Yeah,
those I hope they make a Tallgeese. Even the first one I'll be fine with, but they seem to be knocking out Gundam Wing like every time they come out with a new line. So
right.
I'm super excited.
Dean, this is your grail here. Tell us about it.
Yes, Hot Toys Captain Harlock from the show or the movie Space. I think it's just Space Captain, or no, what's it say?
Space Pirate.
Space Pirate Captain Harlock. Yeah, it's on Netflix. Go check it out. They have it in Japanese and English. It's all 3D animated.
Is this an old show?
Yeah, so originally it's from like I think the 60s or the 70s.
Mm.
I think it's like Space 1999 or something. And the premise of this movie is like Earth is like off limits, like no one's allowed to go there. And this like space council keeps people from going there. And yeah, you just kind of have to watch the movie because Captain Harlock is the fucking man.
Oh yeah.
He's just a really cool character.
Look at that pose in that chair. Good God.
Yeah, I want this one specifically with the chair because you could buy it without the chair. But with
Why would
the
you do
chair,
that?
Like an additional like $200. It's insane, which is why it's my grail because it's like $400 something. It's a really cool movie. It's a really cool figure, and it's just like one of those ones that I'll see him sometimes. They'll pop up for like $120, but it doesn't have the throne. I'm kind of like, I don't know. And it's kind of like I really need that throne. It's just so much cooler. But it comes with a decent amount of accessories. He's got like this big ass bird that sits on his shoulder, and
Yeah. Also, the throne, like he has skull hand rest. Like, how badass is that?
yeah, dude,
Of course, you had to have the throne.
yeah, it's really sweet.
So for me, I have two grills, and one I think is very attainable. Currently in talks with a gentleman now, but it's the Hot Toys Ironmonger. I've tried to buy Seth's Ironmonger like twice. Like I've asked him like, "Yo, let me know a number," and twice he's told me that it is never going to be sold.
You know, wait, hold on, Zach, real quick. You just need to throw a Mushu at him.
There you
Grease it
go.
up. He just needs a Mushu.
Yeah,
and
he
then you're...
said no mission, no deal. He did say
Yes, that is true. That is true. And potentially this is going to be a Christmas gift this year. I think my mother was the wonderful angel she was. Gave me some cash to pick this up. And Fernando, I think he wants to buy a figure from me. And I get paid tomorrow. Plus my wife said she would help me out. So I think all the stars are aligning. I think this could be a real thing. It's like the Captain Planet combining to make Ironmonger. So I'm very excited about that. My next grail, Dean, I'm sure you're excited about this one, is the Hot Toys Light Cycle. I want this bad. With Disney Plus, I finally got to rewatch Tron and Tron Legacy. This design is iconic. I love the actor. Just everything about this is just amazing.
I really wanted this too, and then just like the more I looked at it, I was like, he's just sitting in the bike. Like you can't do anything with the figure. Like it's just kind of pointing to me. Now, if it was like a figure and you could put him on the bike, that'd be different. But this is basically just a statue. It's fucking cool, and I would.
And the reason for that is the body is lit for the user suit.
Damn, that being said, it is really cool. Remember a few months back that guy was trying to sell his
God, don't even get me started. That was fucking awful. He was trying to sell his
dude,
Kevin
I
Flynn.
almost bought it.
If you would have bought it, I would have been pissed purely on principle. This guy was like reposting it like 3 times a day. I'm like, dude, just fucking bump your post. That's not how Facebook works.
I do really want that figure, and his price was like kind of decent. But yeah, principle alone, I didn't buy. I was like, man, fuck this guy.
Thank you so much. Dean. It is the time where we talk. Oh yeah, please.
I think it was Mervin. Yeah, Mervin said Wonder Woman over Black Widow. We didn't talk about Black Widow.
Let's talk about it.
That trailer was awesome. I didn't think I would be that stoked for a Black Widow movie than I am.
Wait, it's a movie or it's a show?
It's
a movie.
Really? And
Yeah.
it's streaming on Disney Plus or it's an actual movie?
No, it's a movie. Theatrical release.
David Harbour's in it.
Full disclosure, I had an awful week last week, so I have not watched this trailer yet. I was like in a rut all week, and I was like not doing anything.
Amazing. The tone is cool.
Mhm.
You get to see her family. I don't know if it's like a literal family, but it's just looks so good. The action is insane. Taskmaster is the bad guy. I mean, that's like comic book villain number one. What do you guys think about it?
Yeah, so one thing we talked about with the Black Widow movie is that, like, after Chris and I saw it, we both had the same reaction was, well, why did it take them so long to make this? Because it's right there, and it is so good. Like, the trailer looks great. It's just like, You could have made this 5 years ago. You could have made it 8 years ago. You could have made it 3 years ago.
Yeah, imagine if Nat was like the thread that tied everything together for phase 3.
Well, see, let me ask you this, because this movie or this trailer starts with her dialogue from Endgame, so I'm not entirely convinced it's a prequel.
So what what we have seen, it's like, what did you call it, Chris? A midquel?
Yeah, it's a middle-quel.
Yeah, oof, that's not a good.
Okay,
Sorry, we got to find out something better than that. But like,
They did it.
Is she some kind of purgatory? Like, what's going on here?
Oh man,
that would be interesting. Now that's a left field take, but I like
Yeah,
it.
'cause
You got Doctor Strange,
yeah.
you got Mephisto. Like, who knows?
Yeah,
At the end of this movie, she comes back out of the Infinity Stone.
Oh,
God!
that's what I'm thinking, because it's just like, I was like, why would they add the dialogue from Endgame when technically that would be years and
Right.
years away?
That's just for the audience at that point.
So I'm thinking it's like her purgatory in the stone.
Oh,
Dean,
fuck
my man,
me.
I love that. Holy hell! You're gonna have to bring you onto our show with your theories.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, hell yeah.
Dean's discussions, what do we call it?
Oh, nice.
Mervin says the movie takes place after Civil War, but
Yeah.
before Infinity War.
Yeah, and that's why we're calling it a midquel, because they've been very specific about where this movie fits, and that's fine. And the argument that we kind of made was like, I think Disney is just trying to do anything to see if it doesn't matter if people are going to see the movie anyway, because they did prequels, people still saw those, we see sequels all the time, but they're like, no, we're going to do a movie that specifically takes place between these other two movies after the fact, and you're still going to see it, we're still going to make $1 billion. We're Disney, screw you. Like,
South Park's like, fuck you, you'll watch it.
they're not
sorry.
wrong, though.
We're
Yeah, they're
sorry.
Oh, we're so sorry.
But yeah, it does look hype. That Black Widow trailer looks great.
The song is like so good. It's probably the best part of that trailer. But
I
yeah,
gotta check this trailer out. It sounds neat.
that's all I want.
It is very neat.
You can fit so many boats into David Harbor.
Oh my god!
Any size, any type of knot you want, just like
Like a schooner?
yeah, a schooner would be great. Oh, dude, a schooner in the harbor, like right next to one of those big cigarette boats from the 1980s. Come on,
Oh my god!
That's hilarious.
just
I have
going
no
in
idea
and
what y'all are
out
talking
and
about.
in and out and
Oh my
in
god!
and out.
Let's talk Ox Talks. I know CBC Pod, this is a segment that you do on your show. You wanted to know, what is your favorite comic book related toy?
Ooh.
And Alfred, this was yours. It's an older Hulk figure. Tell
Alfred
us.
looking great in
1978.
that picture.
That's not me. That's not me. It's some dude on YouTube. That's from 1978, and it's the Incredible Hulk.
I just saw your face, and you didn't look like this.
It's the Incredible Hulk Rage Cage. Is what it's called.
Y'all are bad people. You're making fun of this dude. Just showing off his Hulk.
Oh man, yeah, he's doing better than I am. He's got the Hulk.
I was
so.
just so confused because I was like, he just had his webcam on. What happened?
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm gonna change pictures because you are being assholes. Dude. Mine was the Marvel Legends Miles Morales. This is a wonderful post here by Shortimus Prime. Really good figure, very posable. My daughter beat the hell out of it for like 6 months, and now it's back in my collection. It's a really cool figure. And other members that put in some feedback, Greg has Ben Grimm. We have some Hulk figures here. There's a close-up of the Ben Grimm. PJ put his Darth Vader quarter scale. Jason Nelson put up Jason Pearson's body bag. Shocker Toys the Max.
Oh, the Max.
And Dan Lee says G.I. Joe and Transformers, often forgotten they were comics before cartoons, and those are the pictures that he gave us. Some Gen 1 and some G.I. Joe. And what do you guys have to say, Seth? Do you have any cool figures that you wanted to share? What is this? That's the Mafex Spider-Man? Or is that the Revoltech?
The Pizza Spider-Man by Hasbro.
Yeah.
It was just so well done. It's amazing.
I love the eyes on that figure.
Yeah, it's it's pretty much the best Spider-Man figure I think that's come out in a long time. I haven't got my hands on the Medicom one, but I can tell you it's not worth the money. It's like $100-something just on it. It's like, ooh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think anything that small is worth $100.
That's what she said.
that's what. Yeah, that's what. Yeah. Dean, let's talk what really grinds my gears. It's that time of show that I get on a soapbox, and people either love it or they don't. But we're talking about it.
I love it. Any kind of anger and pettiness is my favorite thing.
Mervin says, "Damn, just skip my post." What is this guy, Mervin? We've been talking about your posts all show, man.
Which post?
I don't know, Mervin. Let me know what post we skipped, and I'll get right back to it. But we have, you know, what really grinds my gears. Now Sideshow changed some of.
Oh yeah, this is fucking.
Yeah, Sideshow changed the way they do waitlists. So essentially, the way waitlists used to work is you would get an email, and you had a certain amount of time, let's say 5 days, to finalize your purchase. And essentially, during that period of time, you were guaranteed that if you secured the purchase before the time expired, you would get your waitlisted item. Now, waitlist has changed. You can see here, this is an email. You have the opportunity to purchase your waitlisted product, Rogue Maquette from Sideshow Collectibles, for a limited time. Act now. Quantities are extremely limited for this item. Fulfillment is on a first-come, first-served basis, and a piece is not, all caps, guaranteed. Sideshow's taken a lot of L's this year. They've had some good things. They've had some bad things. This just seems so stupid and unnecessary. They had a really good system for waitlists. Essentially, you'd be on the hook for this purchase if you did convert and you didn't cancel it within the amount of time, or if you claimed it. Dean, what do you think about this? I think it's just a really stupid.
It's really stupid because you're shooting your customers in the foot that put in their orders like day 2, day 3, because now someone can come in like, you know, right before the figure releases, jump on the wait list, and then get it before you do.
Yep.
And you've been waiting this whole time.
Yep.
It's like I put in my order a year ago. This dude put in his order a week ago, and he got it just because I was busy at work. That seems kind of fucking shitty.
Yep, I totally agree. Real quick,
Yeah,
Mervin says that he replied on the thread with his favorite comic figure, the Hellboy. Look, Mervin, I'm a busy man. I gotta. I'm sorry. First off, I apologize. But secondly, not only did I skip it on the slides, you skipped it replying earlier. Think about that. If you would have replied earlier, it would have been on the slide.
Oh,
that's
smoke.
You owe us an apology.
A little bit
How
of
the turntables.
Hit my boy Mervin with a little bit of a mirror force. Anyways,
now,
so
Zach,
Mervin was talking about the 1,000 Toys comic book Hellboy. I'm sorry, Mervin. I cut off entries at about 5, and I finalized the slides, and then picked up my kid from daycare, and at that point it's daddy daycare time. So, what were you saying, Alfred?
Yeah, Zach, do you know why they made this change? I mean, have you?
Well, I honestly think that this change, maybe they didn't have enough conversions from those wait lists that people were holding them. I think that would make some sense. And I think just during the holidays, they need to get these figures bought and sold quickly to make room for new figures. It does make sense from a business standpoint, but you have to keep in mind this is a company that's made a lot of missteps with their customers throughout the year.
Yeah.
And I think that this is perhaps a little greedy. Because Dean's right. A lot of times you can be on wait list. You know, there's examples of figures that go on wait lists, like the Hot Toys exclusive versions, and you could be on a wait list for like a year. So,
oh yeah, I've
Dean's
been on a
exactly
waitlist
right.
for a year. I've experienced that.
Dean is exactly right. I think that this is in the interest
very
of
rare that I'm wrong.
well. Now we have obviously these wonderful guests on the on this podcast. The comic book characters hosts Alfred and Chris, and they're on, one, because we're awesome, and two, because they have a very important request. Now, you guys were one of, I think it was 3 or 4 or 5 podcasts that were chosen in San Antonio, which is
4 in total,
to represent the best podcast of San Antonio. Now, we campaigned once for this, and then I completely forgot about it. The other shows that we recorded that think that could have something to do with it, we were not chosen. And as far as I'm concerned, if a nerd is going to win this contest, it damn well better be you guys. And we are full on campaigning to get our boys the W. Now, tell us about your podcast. I know we talked about it early in the show, but you guys have just. I will say this, Dean. When I first met Alfred,
preach.
when I first met Alfred, you guys were already pretty well established in your show,
Hmm.
and I was just starting off our show. I think we were only like 7 episodes in. We were just barely starting.
Oh wow.
And I remember thinking like, man, this guy is awesome. Like he has a show. They have like I think you had like 80 episodes at the time, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I was so inspired by it. I was like, man, like they got intro, they got like it was just a lot to take in from someone that was at that time recording, not regularly with my friend with an iPad.
Yeah.
And obviously you guys are here now where you're being recognized as potentially one of the best of our cities. Now, tell us your journey. Tell us how you guys started the podcast. Give us a little bit of I'll shut up and I'll let you guys tell us a little bit about your amazing podcast.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're about to hit year 5. So, we've been grinding at this thing for a while. Originally, it was the brainchild of myself and my friend Ignacio. Now, Chris and Ignacio and I all went to UT, and we're all in the kind of media school, their RTF school. And we used to just clown and try to produce things, whether it was like commercial skits or comedy skits or short film scripts or just anything. We were always kind of doing stuff together a lot, just hanging out and doing things. And, my friend Ignacio lives in New York now. And we always wanted to do something collaborative, so we originally started the podcast. It was called Tango and Cast, which is literally the dumbest name.
Yeah.
It's like a joke of Tango and Cash,
Right.
the Sylvester Stallone, Kurt Russell film, and it didn't have like a specific topic, so we just kind of talked about anything and everything. That didn't work out too well because like it's really hard to focus an audience that way. We very quickly retooled the show. We were originally going to name it Kneel Before Pod, and we found out that there's a British podcast at the time. This was 5 years ago that was already up and running with that name. Funny enough, those guys are not around anymore. But
Shout out.
Take it.
it took about we settled on comic book characters, and then we just kind of went with that. And the interesting thing is the first episode came just as the news of Spidey going being
into the MCU. Yeah.
And so that was like kismet. Like it was amazing that timed so well. That literally is our first episode is about that subject. So Zach, you might know a little about this, being a father. Ig has twins now and has like literally zero free time. So we try to bring him into the show whenever we can, but he stepped away. Chris jumped in, eager and ready, and we've just been, hit the ground running ever since. We got to do PopCon here in San Antonio a few years back, which was really cool. We we've been able to talk to various comic writers and artists in the industry, even some like independent film producers and directors and writers. It's been a really, really great journey. We just love being able to present comic news in an entertaining way. We love doing like the movie reviews. We're really happy that the comic book movies are such a big thing because it really is probably our favorite thing to do. Chris, anything I'm missing?
No, that's a pretty good synopsis. I mean, yeah, I think the biggest thing that we can lend to this kind of like nerd culture is like our own view, right? Everybody has their own take on things, and that's what makes like all this community that much more important. Like, as long as you keep the discussion going forward, then you're doing your due diligence, I think, by kind of like because like we always say it, right? We want things to be good because it just begets more good things in this space. And for so long, like our kind of like the things that we like, the fucking Transformers, G.I. Joes, anime, comic book characters, all that was so niche. And now that it's completely mainstream,
mainstream
is like it's just mind blowing still. So I think, yeah, being involved is kind of really, really rewarding, and fulfilling.
Yeah, I totally agree. Was there a point in your podcast where you kind of like thought that this is a thing? like for us, it took a while. Like our show had an iteration that was like 5 or 10 episodes, and then we cut it off, and then a second one that maybe went a few more episodes than 10. And it wasn't really until the third try that it really became real that we had something. What was that moment like for you guys when you realized that you had something that had its own legs?
I think like in year, I mean, it's kind of funny I say like in year 2, but at the beginning of year 2, I had strangers come up to me and tell me that they listened to the show, like people that I didn't know directly.
Yeah.
And Ignacio in New York had people come up to him randomly. And that's such a surreal moment. By no means are we celebrities or anything like that, but
Don't sell yourself short.
But just it is literally such a surreal feeling. And then I think, Chris, you might agree, when we got to do the PopCon thing was like such a, okay, we're here. Like we're really here. We got to field questions from people that were just curious about podcasting, curious about the show. And it felt like we were permanent.
That was really cool because it was sort of like game recognized game, right? We were invited by she runs the Alexandria Chronicles.
Yeah, by Nicole.
Yeah, so it's always great when like fellow creatives kind of throw that anchor out.
Alexandria Archives. Sorry.
Yeah, there we go. Game recognizing game is great. I think that for me was kind of really cool. I think also one time we had like an emergency pod. I forget. I think it might have been James Gunn getting fired.
I remember that episode. Yeah.
In the comments, somebody said like "Ig's back," and he messaged you, and you're like, "You know that guy?" Because I don't know that guy.
Right.
The comments, like it's always kind of cool to see, like what they react to and what kind of like caught their attention.
Yeah, that happened to us one time with Jesse.
Yeah, people were like, "Where's Jesse?" And then people started making Jesse memes, and it was
the memes. I love those memes.
Yeah,
it was around that time the whole Jussie Smollett stuff was, and there was this two brothers. They're like, "Jesse, why'd you go and do that, Jesse?" And then it became a huge meme. It was, I mean, it was something awful what happened, but it was great.
PJ put it in the comments. He's like, "You mean Justin?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I have like a real audience."
I think for us, the moment that I really felt like we weren't doing something silly. Dean, we've talked about this.
A1?
Well, yeah, obviously. Being on the bus to Austin to go to Facebook headquarters and then getting there and like all the badges had like our names and our podcast on it, and sharing our story with some of the other big creators and influencers in Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio, and being taken seriously amongst like very successful people was a very powerful thing. It really gave me a lot of drive to keep going.
Yeah, because it was like we had concerns, and Facebook employees were like writing them down, like, "Give me your information, like, tell us what more we could do." Like that was so cool.
Yeah.
Another one for me, I was at a bar. I was watching this band play, and I was wearing one of our shirts, and someone comes up to me like, "Hey, you listen to Collecting Weekly?" I was like, "I'm on Collecting Weekly."
I'm Collecting Weekly.
He's like, "Oh yeah, my buddy Zach runs it." I was like, "Okay."
Wait, who is this person?
I don't know. I messaged you about it, and I was like, "Well, I am on it too."
Yeah, man, you'd really dig it. You should check it out.
It's very humbling.
I will say, Dean gets the short end of the stick often. Like a lot of times, people will message Dean to ask me something, but it's like Dean knows the answers. Like people are like, "Oh, when's the next show?" Or like, "Oh, what are you guys gonna do because it's a holiday?" Like Dean can answer those questions. Dean can answer those questions. It's the same thing. Like when you maybe this isn't exactly the same thing, but when you got to the accident, I had made it very clear that you were okay. But a lot of people were messaging me to tell you that they hope you were okay, and it's like, guys, like he's on OG, like just send him a message. He's not like incubated, like in a like he didn't. It was an accident, but he's okay.
He was in a Bacta tank at the time.
There we go.
Yeah. Or like the other day, someone messaged Dean. They're like, "Oh yeah, for Zach's Secret Santa thing." And it's like, well, Dean helped out a lot too to get it all situated and organized, but. Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, he's like, oh, is this for Zach's thing? I was like, it's also
Well,
my thing.
It's my thing, guys.
Dean gets the short end of the stick. Dean does a lot of work, you know. There's a
Oh,
lot
now
that
I'm getting
goes
where I can
there's a
go.
lot that goes into this show. For you guys, obviously you've gotten a back door look at how we do this show. How do you guys go about, you know, crafting each show?
So I mean, it's sort of similar. We have a rundown sheet where we go over kind of what we're going to talk about.
How I can best, derail the
Derail it,
conversation.
yeah, and how many tangents can we go on? In terms of production, Chris handles all of the sound engineering stuff, which is really cool. And he has we call him Soundy affectionately, and Chris
God.
hates him and wishes
Such
he would
an
die.
unreliable son.
There you go. So
Not worthy.
and we use a program. I don't know how technical you want to get, but like we use a program that it pulls both audio files at the same time, which is great because let me tell you, for the first 2.5, maybe 3 years of doing the show, we used to record separately audio files and I'd have to edit them together, and it was
Wow.
a pain in the ass, man.
Are
Like,
you using Discord?
Was it using Discord?
So what are you using now?
What I'm using now is it's actually, it runs off of Skype, and actually I'm looking at switching to something else. And I can't think of the name of the program, but the program that I use is called, it's slipping my mind at the moment.
GarageBand.
Well, maybe if I had an Apple, it would be
Windows Media Player.
Nope. It's
real time
platform, and which presents its own problems too. But
Yeah.
it's definitely a lot easier than recording two separate audio files, then mixing together. And then syncing, like that's, man, so many.
Yeah, when you get into syncing, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, syncing's like, and but it's been pretty smooth for the most part. We've only, I want to say in the 5 years, we've only lost the audio file, or the file got corrupted or whatever, twice.
It's happened to us twice in a year. It's awful. It's
So
awful when it
it's
happens.
the worst. It is the worst. I want to cry when it's happened. It's only happened twice in like 5 years, so we feel very fortunate that's the case.
What episode are you guys? You guys are like on 150 something right now?
No, I think it's like 115, 116.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're almost. How did you guys celebrate your 100th episode?
We did a lengthy episode. I want to say our 3 longest episodes that we've ever done are the Avengers Infinity War episode, our 100th episode, and then Avengers Endgame.
What did those come in at?
Over 2 hours.
Nice.
All of them were, I want to say, like 2.5 hours. I know.
Just because in Infinity War we had what was it, 5 or 6 guests?
No, we had 10 guests.
Fucking hell.
We had 10 separate guests come on that show. We did a really big thing for that one. I remember it was a little bit longer than the movie.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So, but you know what? That is our most listened to episode.
Always
to this
important.
day. So
with that contest, like I said, we'll drop a link in the show notes, but you can vote every day. And I think it's really important if we can get our guys the W. We know another one of the people that were nominated, and they're wonderful people, but I got to go with my nerd bros. And we really want to get you guys the W. Is there any comments you guys have about our show, things that you like that we do, or anything?
I've told you this off air before, Zach, and I'm happy to say it on air as well. The production that you do, especially with like the YouTube, I know you're an audio podcast, but like predominantly that's what you are.
Yeah.
The video production with your YouTube channel is great. Like, I've considered trying, Chris and I have talked about going into a video format for our show at various times.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could produce something that's half as nice as what you've got going, I think we would be thrilled. I love that you guys, because there's usually like 3 or 4 of you in a show. And I like that it really opens up the discussion whenever you guys are talking about things that are like grinding your gears, like things that are really bothering you or things that you're really excited about, where you get this multitude of opinions and perspectives. And that's one thing, I always tell Ignacio, I really wish we could bring him back on the show in a larger capacity, because I would love to do a 3-man show. I think that would allow just more opinions and perspectives, which is so much about what I think podcasting can be and can be about.
Yeah, it's been fun this year. We're really going all out with it. Quinn is in the chat. He says, "What's up?" Mervin says, "Sorry, I'll make sure I ask Elon to give me more time to reply to Facebook before 5 p.m. CST." Mervin, if I gotta call Elon, just let me know. I got his number. I will be happy to call him and sort this out.
Fire up my Cybertruck and drive
That's
down.
right. When you guys were talking about the Cybertruck with the, you said there was an aux button.
There is. We have an exclusive contract to put an aux button in every Tesla Cybertruck.
Yeah, we got it.
We have the same deal with Ford and Honda
Mazda,
and Toyota, but that's the one that we're really proud of, and it took a lot of contract to get the aux button in every car, but we did it for you, the listeners. This year we did a Christmas card. It was really fun to do. A little bit of drama about it though. Dean was a little peeved that I tried to go with the solo Christmas card.
Yeah.
Dean was like, "What the is this?" And I was like, "Well, you weren't there to take the picture, and no one answered."
Yeah, sorry, my car was.
Oh, I thought you meant like solo, like Star Wars Christmas.
No,
special.
it was me with like a coffee mug with all these toys on the table, and all the hosts were like, "Wow!" So we ended up redoing it. And we sent out I think it was like 40 Christmas cards. It was quite a few.
Yeah, I still have it.
Actually, I just mailed yours today. I got sidetracked yesterday, so
cool.
you may get 2 because I'm 99% sure I sent yours out with the second batch. But yeah, we got into stickers this year. We made some really cool magnets. The auxiliary ones are really nice. The new stickers. We're just having a lot of fun this year. We're doing the award show. We're making it a big deal. This is like the Oscars of toys.
I voted. I think it's so cool. I don't know if this. I just want to say personally, I'm pulling for Scarlet Spidey. I love that figure. I have that figure. I love that figure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and now that we're on that subject, Tuesday, December 17th at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, live from the Collecting Weekly studio, we're doing the Collecting Weekly Awards. You need to get your votes in by midnight on the 16th I can
say really quick,
please.
That logo is crispy.
Dude,
it gets clearly C3PO, but it looks like an Oscar like we had. It's just
beautiful.
classy as shit. I love it.
I love everything about this logo, and I really want to get there's one thing I haven't talked about this to you, Dean. The reason why I told you to call me earlier, I totally got sidetracked with my recipient calling me.
3-second phone call. I was like, why did he call me for that?
I want to do one more Collecting Weekly Award, Dean, and I want to run it by you live on the air.
Okay.
All right, and also with the CBC guys, of course. I think we should do a Collecting Weekly Award for the sweetest angel in Ox, and we're gonna mail them an actual trophy.
Wow.
I think it'd be fun.
Angel?
Wait, what?
Are you going to mail them an angel?
A gold angel with a plaque and everything. It's gonna be legit.
Yeah.
So if you want to campaign for the sweetest angel,
I
drop a post on Ox. Let us hear your story.
I mean, clearly it's Richard.
Well, it could be. It could be in the running. And the host will vote on this, and we'll pick a winner.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, the Collecting Weekly Awards voting is live now. Some categories, and I'm not saying this just to cause unnecessary drama like I normally do, but legitimately some categories are down to 1 vote or tied. Like, there are some categories where there's a runaway winner, and there's some categories where they are legit, like, down to the wire. So your vote could be the swing vote. We have 40 votes in right now, and it's going to be, down to the last vote. And we have so many cool things that we're going to do for the show. We got a live studio audience that's going to be there. It's going to be very cool. Dean, are you excited for the award show?
I'm pretty stoked, man.
Dude, I'm very stoked.
I'm excited.
Very excited. Dean, we have 2 other shows in our network, Small Talk and Only Fools and Collecting.
That's right.
I believe OFAC records this Thursday. I know they kind of changed Thursday or Friday here and there. But that is our English friends, Steve, Ian, and Pete. They're going to be recording lots of new drama with the English folks this week. Lots of the English people have been banned from 1/6 Republic, so they're going to talk about that. And Damien and Dylan had to had to record last week, and their show is excellent. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/collectingweekly, on all your audio platforms, and you can find us on Facebook at Collecting Weekly Auxiliary. Instagram is Collecting Weekly, so definitely check us out there. And last but not least, Dean, it's that part of the show where we talk about our shout-outs.
Nice.
Now, I wanted to give a shout-out to my mom's student. She said that... I guess like she was upset that I never answer her calls during the podcast, because she calls literally every night at like a certain time. But Tuesdays obviously we happen to be recording, and I guess like she told her student checked out our podcast, and he was like, "They're pretty good. They're pretty good." So Stevie, shout out to you if you're listening. What a guy! If you want a sticker, let my mother know, and I'll drop an ox sticker your way. I don't even know if that's legal, but we will get you some sort of sticker for your binder or whatever you kids have these days. And then shout out, of course, to Small Talk, Only Fools and Collecting, Dark Side Customs in the UK, Six Scale Scavengers, Brian, Chris, and TC, the Dork Dad Podcast, Alfred and Chris from CVC Pod, and Be The Match. Be The Match is a great company. Definitely sign up. There's going to be a link in the description on how you can sign up to potentially save someone's life. You never know if it could be a family member's life you're saving, could be a total stranger, and one day you yourself may need it. So definitely sign up if you want to potentially help out somebody else. Dean, do you have any shout-outs you wanted to give?
Manny, just for my sweet Thanos.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. It's got some little paint issues, but...
Nothing a brush can't fix.
Yeah. It's just like right there. See where the gold stops on the glove?
Mm-hmm.
Right under the Mind Stone. But other than that, the thing's great. So thanks, Manny, for picking it up. He was looking for one, and I thought it was the other Thanos Select. And I was like, oh, I have one if you want. And he was like, no, it's this one. I was like, oh, let me know if they have it.
Now I want that one too.
Yeah, no, he was like, okay, and they had an extra one. So
Jason Nelson says live studio audience. Yes, Jason, we have. I think we have all the hosts that are coming. Damien's coming. Steven and Daisy from Steven's Collectibles are coming. Greg is coming, and we're gonna look at the floor plan to see if we can add some more people. It's gonna be quite cramped, but I think it'll be fun.
Well, yeah, we'll have to like share microphones, but we can make it work.
We can make it work. Chris and Alfred, do you guys have any shout outs you wanted to give?
You mentioned Dork Dad podcast earlier. That's another great one.
I really want to do a show one day with Lucky and you guys, like all the nerd San Antonio podcasters. I think
the nerd Voltron, yeah.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Absolutely.
I think that'd be a fun show.
We would be
with our powers combined.
Yeah, absolutely. We're 100% down. Do love Dork Dad. Shouts to you guys for having us on.
That's word.
Much love, and next year we're gonna get you on the ballot too.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Question: if you guys, well, actually, one question before. I'm sorry, Chris.
No worries.
Have they even emailed you guys yet? Because I know you said they haven't contacted you at all.
I've reached out to them.
Yeah,
and they have not responded yet. And I'm just like, cool. I'm gonna keep voting then.
If you guys win, can we give you guys Collecting Weekly hats to wear on the podium? If there even is a podium, if you even get contacted,
there is an award ceremony.
It's why I think there is an award ceremony. We'll do some buttons or something.
Well, the hat would work, but
okay. We got hats too.
Try to downgrade us to buttons. Wow.
Well, I'm sorry, we got hats.
Might as well put a patch on the inside of your sleeve. I mean, button.
I'll just do like a little I'll wink with my eye, and then that's how you'll know. No, just kidding.
Wow.
No, we'd be happy.
Everyone, if you want to vote for the other three pod, no, I'm just kidding.
No, but it is so cool.
On air.
I do want to say it is so cool that that the nerddom of San Antonio is far-reaching.
I will say when you were nominated, I thought that was a huge deal because I remember last year I jokingly nominated us, and obviously we didn't get it. But last year, if I remember correctly, it was like really intense stuff like culture, music, food, and this year you guys are like the standout again. Like it's like nerd culture. I thought it was just going to be a bunch of like boring shows that were nominated, but there's actually some decent stuff this year. I gotta say, I really hope you guys take the W. I really hope you guys take the W.
Well, I appreciate it.
A win for you guys would be a win for everyone in this nerdness community.
For
as
the
far as I'm
world,
concerned.
even.
Yeah, for the world, for the universe.
Righting
Chris,
those
what-
wrongs.
Like, we really need another food blog podcast? No. We need you guys at the forefront of the culture wars.
Hell
Begun
yes.
the culture wars have.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah.
Anyways,
See,
Chris, did
look
you
at
have any?
Unscripted genius. Look at that.
What a guy. Did you have any shout outs you wanted to give, Chris?
Yeah, maybe this is kind of on us. It's really righting a wrong that
boy.
feels so right.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Shout out to Jeremy Renner and his singing career, man. We clown on Jeremy Renner so hard.
Bro, the app that he made was cringe. That
Right?
app was awful.
So weird.
His Amazon catalog. It included a bow, of course.
What a guy.
I mean, just the fountain of youth that keeps on giving. He's amazing. I hope he's doing all right. I know he was in some muddy waters back there a bit. So shout out to Jeremy Renner. We know you listen, motherfucker.
Yes. Shout out to Jeremy Renner. Maybe we can invite him to host the show. You think he'd come on, Dean?
He'd only talk about his family the entire time.
He would absolutely talk about his family the entire time.
Awkward.
Is that bad?
Yes.
It's it's a thing.
Anyways, guys, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Alfred.
I'm Chris.
Catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
What a show.
What a
What a show.
I haven't laughed that hard in a long time.
That was a